Hey everybody, Ryan F. MTG here. Before we talk about today's topic of conversation, I want to remind you all that about 2 weeks ago now, I launched a new Teppen website called ryanfteppenpedia.com. And basically the whole goal of this website is to collect many different decks of many different heroes from many different players all on one website so that more players can kind of find the deck that they like to play and that they can get good at and rank up the ladder or just play for fun, however they want to play. That's enough about that. Today's topic is I want to give you my thoughts about EXGPs and GPs because both of them have been around for a while, right? GPs have been around since the get-go of Teppen. Every 2 months we have a new GP. And then EXGPs have been around for quite a few months now, and every single weekend we have a new EXGP. And my thoughts have kind of changed throughout the months about these two different topics / tournaments, whatever you want to call them. And so I really want to give you my personal experience / thoughts on them, and I really want to hear yours as well. So if you agree with me, disagree, have another point to make, sound off in the comments below. I might not respond to all the comments, but I sure will read all of them because I think this is a good topic to discuss because I have my thoughts, and I think some other people might agree with me, but I know I'm not the only person, and I know my own personal biases affect my own thoughts, so therefore your thoughts might be completely different, and maybe at the end of the day, I might be way more down on GPs and EXGPs, and maybe for the rest of you, you might love them, so that's why I want to hear your thoughts. Kind of like my intro alluded to, I'm kind of down on both EXGPs and GPs, and both have kind of had the same route with me. When they first started, I was super gung-ho about them. I was really excited about them for maybe the first couple, right? Where GPs, maybe the first couple, 2 or 3, EXGPs after a month, after 2 months, as time went on, I started to care less and less and less to where now, especially with EXGPs, I don't usually play them. Every once in a while, I might play one here or there, but I haven't for the past couple of weeks because I just don't really care anymore. And I hate saying that because I love Teppen so much. I'm so involved with Teppen and I like it and I like playing and I like to think I like everything about it, but there's some things that I just don't particularly like, and EXGPs are one of them. GPs kind of took a little bit longer for me to get a little bit more disinterested in them, where usually I was like, oh, it only happens every 2 months, once with a set. But now they kind of just sneak up on me. I kind of play a couple rounds here or there just out of almost obligation. And when I do, I still kind of enjoy it because, of course, it's still Teppen, but it's definitely not like the first couple GPs or the first couple EXGPs that were so fun. So over the past couple days, I've really tried to figure out and do some reflection of why is my love for EXGPs and GPs so much down? Is it me? Is it how they're set up? And what could be different? Let's first talk about EXGPs. And like I said before, when EXGPs first came out, November, December, whenever they came out, for the first couple months, I really liked them. Then it kind of went to a little bit less. So there was a honeymoon period where I would play every single weekend, sometimes more than once. Then there was a couple months where I was like, it's fine. I still was kind of playing it just to get the special alternative art. And now for the last month or so, I barely even played them. And I kind of came up with 3 reasons why I feel the way I do about EXGPs. Reason 1 is the format itself sometimes are not great, right? A lot of times it's just oh, okay, I can port this meta deck into the EXGP and maybe change a deck or 1 or 2 cards and call it a day. However, sometimes there are really cool ones, like a couple of the very first ones where the MP boost was up or the active response MP boost was up, or actually this weekend's of MP 200% and Highlander, that actually does sound pretty interesting, right? You can't really just take a meta deck and throw it into this EXGP meta and expect to do good. Maybe you can, I don't know, but this definitely gives you some room to brew, and that's what I like. I like the rules that you can brew with that feel more than just watered down versions of regular meta decks. Reason 2 is they happen every single weekend with a new rule. So I kind of already talked about some rules are better than others, but every single weekend I found myself kind of getting tired, a little bit too much oh, this is too much work or a hassle to brew a whole new deck just to play for a weekend, where yes, I want to see more crazy fun rules. However, to ask players to be brewing a deck just for one weekend, every single weekend, I think that's a tall order, and even for me, I find that a little bit too much, and I spend a lot of time with Teppen, because most of the time, I'm just playing the ladder, so I'd rather brew and tweak decks for the ladder. So I think maybe every single weekend is a little bit too much, and especially if you're making your players really, hit the lab and brew new decks. The third reason is the prizes are not good. I would go as far to say as they're bad, right? They are far worse than the GP prizes because you are not guaranteed a pack. You're not guaranteed anything. If you get if you go 1-4, you get 35 to 125 Zenny and 10 to 15 Soul. That is not good, right? That Soul is basically nothing, more or less. And that Zenny, 35 to 125, that's a humongous gap. And bear in mind, EXGPs cost 240 to play. So, okay, getting one win isn't a lot. What if you go 3-2? 3-2 is between 100 and 255 Zenny, which yet again, super large gap. And then your Soul is 15 to 20, which is not a lot of Soul. So you could go 3-2, and if you get the low end of the Zenny and the Soul, you go 3-2, get 100 Zenny and 15 Soul, and that feels really, really bad when you just, went 3-2, you had a positive record, as well as you spent 240 to enter this. If you get 5 victories, which is a lot, right? Going 5-0 is a good feat to do. You get the alternative art, which you also get if you go 4-1. You get 15 to 20 Soul, which is basically like nothing. You get one normal rare card, which isn't that good. It's not even an epic, let alone a legendary, and it's not even a golden version of it. And then you either get Zenny 150 to 285, so hopefully you get 240, or you get one pack. All in all, to go 5-0, that's not that good of rewards. Like, if you cut out the alternative version, I think you would be very disappointed with going 5-0 and getting these rewards. And yes, I know every single weekend they give you one free one. So if you're just using that one free one, then it is free value, right? It's in the title. It's a free ticket. And also if you're using the EXGP tickets, you usually are getting those for free with just like, daily quests and season passes and stuff like that. But if you're paying 240 Zenny to enter this event, you are not getting your money's worth. So if Teppen wants to keep doing EXGPs, I feel like they can make them better in a couple ways that I've already kind of alluded to, but I kind of want to wrap up the EXGP package. And I feel like the ways that they could make them better is making sure that all the rules are actually different, that are forcing players to play a different deck than they usually are in the ladder, and that's not just a watered down meta deck. As well as upping the prizes across the board, maybe making them much more like the GPs, maybe just copy pasting the GPs where you're guaranteed a pack, and then Zenny and Soul and cards are a little bit better value throughout how many wins you get. Along with those two things, and I know I said this before, is maybe not having them every week. If you are changing the rules and maybe making better prizes, maybe doing 2 a month, so one every other week could be better, because then it's kind of more of an event rather than it's just like, oh well, I could easily skip this weekend's EXGP because I know there's going to be one next weekend. Where if you have it every other week or something like that, it becomes much more of an event. Let's talk about GPs. GPs have been around since core sets, and I have liked GPs for a little bit longer than I have liked the EXGPs, and I think that's because there's just one a set, and that means one every other month. So they are more of an event, especially that there's round 1, 2, and 3. So it feels more special. It feels like a bigger thing. But all in all, I am kind of a little down, or my hype for GPs have definitely gone down. I boil down it to 3 reasons why my feelings for GPs have gone down. And reason 1 is the format itself. Kind of like what I talked about EXGPs, is usually the GPs, the couple best decks, are just watered down. And when I say watered down, I usually just mean worse versions of, okay, well, I have to take a couple of cards away and add maybe a couple of the second or third tier alternatives to those cards to basically just make a watered down meta deck. And that's not that much fun because 1, I want to play good, powerful decks, or fun decks. And I feel like with the GPs, you're playing watered down versions of meta decks, so they're not that powerful, but they're still good, and they might not be even as fun as their normal version, where it's just like, well, why don't I just play, the regular champion ladder? And Reason two is the timing. Each GP usually comes halfway through the second month, so very much towards the end of a set cycle. And I think that's kind of a good time because that is when maybe the hype is a little bit low because, we've had the cards, we've had the set for a while, there hasn't been anything new. So that is kind of nice to give us something new. But like I've said in the past, the GP hype is a little bit less. And especially why I don't like it being in the second month is that the meta is usually pretty settled, right? Usually there might be one or two new decks popping up here or there, but usually the meta is pretty settled. So therefore it's even easier to do watered down variants of meta decks when we've had the same meta for 6-7 weeks. And the timing kind of segues right into my third topic is the prizes. Now, the prizes base level are way better than the EXGP because you are guaranteed one pack. Even if you only get 0 or 1 win, you're guaranteed one pack per entry, as well as across the board, you get more Zenny, more Soul, and more cards, which is awesome, right? The prizes are actually pretty good. But what I don't love about the prizes is there's no alternative arts. There's no cool flare, flashy thing that you really achieve. Now, the best thing is the badges, which the badges are cool, but you have to do a perfect run in the final round to get the badge. Now, along with the emblem, the badge in the final round that you can also get core golden pack tickets, which is basically a normal, all the normal cards in core sets, but every single one is golden, which is really good value. But at the end of the day, that's not super flashy. Like, I actually think that EXGP has a better flashy prize in the alternative art. And why a little bit ago I said this kind of segues right into it is that you get Haunted by Memory packs. 6-7 weeks after Haunted by Memory came out, Haunted by Memory packs aren't as flashy or fun to get. Yes, of course, a lot of free-to-play players or a lot of just other players in general, still want to open up some Haunted by Memories. But if you always got maybe a ticket for the next set across round 1, 2, and 3, no matter what for the next set, that would be much more hype because then it's like, oh, I'm getting like value for, future Ryan. And that seems a lot more fun. However, if they made this previous, towards the beginning of the set cycle, then opening up the new set would be more fun because it's like, oh, Haunted by Memories has only been out for 2 weeks. I still want Haunted by Memories. Then the Grand Prix prizes are actually great value because you're getting a good amount of Soul and Zenny, and then these packs that you really, really want to open. Overall, what do I think that Teppen can do in order to make GPs more fun and exciting? I think if you change each GP, so for example, Haunted by Memories, GP 2 weeks after Haunted by Memories came out, I think that would be more exciting. However, I don't think at the beginning of a set cycle, that's when you need something more exciting because a new set is exciting in and of itself. However, it would make the GP more exciting. I'm not sure if that's what they should do, though. Another way, though, that they could make it more fun and exciting is having cooler prizes, having alternative arts or something like that that they kind of do in the EXGP. Or, hear me out, skins. People love skins. We don't love how we get the skins, but they're really, really cool skins if you could get your hands on them. So what if you could get skins, either a new skin or one of the old skins, through doing good in a GP? And maybe don't make it go 5-0 in the final round, but maybe make it a little bit easier so more players could get skins. That would be pretty exciting. That would actually make me very excited to play in a GP. Overall, those are most of my thoughts about GPs and EXGPs and why I'm kind of a little bit more down on them and why I don't play them as much, or when I do, I'm not as excited as I used to be. As well as those are my thoughts of maybe some changes that Teppen can do in order to make them better. My final thought, though, is I don't know if GPs and EXGPs are a necessity for Teppen. I think there's ways to improve them, but at the end of the day, I don't think that they add that much stuff to Teppen itself, where I would be more excited for a new format of some kind. Have it be a draft format or something like that. I think a draft format would bring so much more to Teppen than GPs or EXGPs do. But that's kind of a topic for a different time. Please let me know your thoughts about EXGPs and GPs. Are you kind of similar to me? Are you higher on them, or do you love them? I want to know your thoughts so I can get a better grasp of how the Teppen community as a whole feels about GPs and EXGPs. But thank you all for watching, and I'll see you all next time.